Hello and welcome to episode 44 of the RAGAMUFFIN Music Podcast. It's a place for us to talk about the music we love. I didn't say our names. I'm Alex.
I'm James.
And I'm Dan.
And it's episode 44.
This week we are reviewing new music from Make Them Suffer, Cartoon Head, and 4 Year Strong.
And later on we'll be discussing what makes a great gig. A question that we often ask to our guests.
It wasn't
today.
this intro, was it?
That was terrible. That was our worst intro since episode 1, I think. Anyway.
Today we're going to be answering the question ourselves.
Let's talk about last episode's album recommendations. James, you recommended Fit for an Autopsy.
Yes, I did. I can't remember the album name, so let me double check it. The Great Collapse. Go.
I'll be honest, I only gave it one listen, but after that listen, I wanted to collapse. There's a lot going on. It's very noisy, which isn't necessarily a criticism. I just don't have very much to say about it. It's fine.
Fair.
It's a metalcore album leaning on the more heavier side of the spectrum, which I've mentioned a few times isn't floating my boat at the moment. So I'll give it another try.
Fair enough. Ali?
Yeah, it was like wading through a thick, dense jungle. But I didn't have like a machete to cut down any branches. I was just sort of like...
Fighting for your life.
Fighting for my life with my bare hands. That's how I felt. I think I mean that complimentary. It was a bit of an overbearing album for me. I feel like their most recent one, Oh What the Future Holds, I found that like a really seamless listen for me. Whereas this one felt like I was going at war with Spotify trying to listen. But
Couldn't be necessarily a bad thing.
I think I like that. A sort of a challenging album for me.
Okay.
But exhausting, yeah. But I liked it. But exhausting.
What did you recommend?
I recommended No Good Left to Give, the second album from Movements.
Musically,
There we go.
it was all right. Lyrically, I found it way too depressing. And so it just dragged me down
It's an
completely.
emo
Hey,
album.
we're all allowed opinions. And so I struggled through it, to be honest.
This isn't even their most depressing album.
And then I don't want any more then, because this was too
critique
depressing already.
Too depressing.
This was way too depressing. Yeah, I struggled because of that. Like, I can appreciate what they're doing and like the target market, I guess, for some people who would appreciate it. But yeah, this ain't my vibe. A bit happier, please.
Fair enough. Dan, what did you think? Because we talk a lot about Feel Something and Ruckus.
Yeah, it's still nowhere near that level, unfortunately. There's a few great songs that you can pick out of here. Skin to Skin, Don't Give Up Your Ghost. Seneca, I think, is a banger. I love the vocal delivery on that song. But as an album, it just falls a bit flat for me. It's at a level and it stays there for the duration. And it doesn't really pick up and excite me on many occasions.
Fair enough. I feel the same, by the way.
What's your thought?
Yeah. No, I think you've hit every nail on the head that I was about to say. Yeah, I completely agree. Still like it, but yeah, it's not. It's like, if I've got the choice, I'm not rushing to that over their other two albums.
No.
Sorry. But we tried. And Dan, what did you recommend?
I recommended the brand new album from Soft Play, Heavy Jelly, so we could give it a bit of a review treatment.
Yes.
A bit of attention, because it deserves it, I think. I think it's probably all around their best album.
Oh, I think it's by far and away their best album. This, to me, is in my top 5 for the year. Because I kept trying to be like, oh, but it's not serious, or it's not... I kept trying to like find reasons to not have it in my top 5, if that makes sense. And all I could just keep coming back to was the hours I've put in. Like, the listening time on this for me has been through the roof. In a month where we had Speed and Graphic Nature as well. Those are two albums on paper that I should have been all over. And I was, but this was like far beyond anything else for me. And it's like everything I want Softplay to do. They're doing it arguably at their best. Like, the angry stuff's still really angry and still has a lot of bite to it. The comedic stuff is still really fun and like tongue-in-cheek, and I think they've balanced that really well on this album. And I just think it's their best work.
Go on then, James.
There's some good points and there are some good songs, but like punk isn't for me. And just it's a weird one to say when I listen to metal music, but I think you'll understand the constant like shouting essentially as the vocals just does not do it for me. Like again, I can appreciate like people's enjoyment of different genres of music, even some people that listen to Taylor Swift. You do you.
Such an unnecessary dig. It's
But-
the most popular artist on the planet, but go off.
Anyway, I can appreciate that, but I think just having literally just shouting, just kind of constantly, it just kind of gave me a lot of fatigue throughout this. There were like good points, and then there were kind of surprising, more melodic moments throughout the album. And some, I could tell that some very clever lyricism that I could pick up on certain songs. But when it comes to like judging it as something as a release and my reaction to it, it isn't something I would go back to. Don't shake your head. We're all allowed an opinion. Everyone doesn't have to like the same thing.
And I know you did acknowledge it as well. It's just the hypocrisy of being fatigued
just
by the vocals.
noise.
When we've listened to some metalcore albums that just are one mode all the way through.
But then I find other stuff in the music that I can get enjoyment out of. If everyone liked the same music in the world, everything would be boring as fuck.
Fair enough.
We have to have that differentiation and we have to respect opinion.
Fair enough. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I love it. I think, like I said, some of the best work. The thing I really like is how, like, a song can seem so unserious and silly on the surface, but when you dig into it, it's like got a bit more, like, metaphorically to it.
Yeah.
I think we briefly talked about Bin Juice Disaster last time and how on the face of it sounds like, oh, it's that relatable moment when like the bin gets too full and it all leaks all over the kitchen floor. But actually, like the lyric, why do I keep pushing it down? It makes you think, well, hang on, maybe it's not about the bin.
Yeah. I agree completely.
And then Worms on Tarmac as well, that seemingly is just about worms on tarmac. But actually it's maybe, if you read into the lyrics, maybe it's a song about always being there for people and helping people out when they need a hand.
Being able to recognise when someone's like out of their comfort zone and just needs a bit of help. Yeah. No, I agree. I think there's like they've always been a band that's they've like, I feel like their lyrics have always been very open, but this feels like to the fullest extent where they've done that, especially on the closing track, because obviously like incredibly raw. But yeah, I think lyrically it's probably their best album as well.
Yeah,
And
lyrically by far.
The drums are doing more interesting stuff. The riffs are doing a hell of a lot more interesting stuff on this one. Yeah, it's brilliant. That's brilliant.
That is brilliant.
And those were the album recommendations.
Moving on to some new stuff.
So first off, we have Make Them Suffer with a brand new single, Oscillator. Now, I think I'm the person that's listened to them most extensively so far. And out of all the recent releases, this isn't the best, I don't think. But I still think there's a lot of key moments that have shown their progression, like over the past few years in particular. Some lovely riffs. They're kind of finding a nice balance between both vocalists now, I think, which is getting better. I am very intrigued by the new album coming out later this year, because it'll be the first time kind of, I guess, being a fan maybe of Make Them Suffer a bit, that I will get to kind of have focus in as a release comes out. So I'm quite intrigued by that. But yeah, it's not amazing, not the best they've done, but it's a decent song, and I can jam to it, and yeah, some lovely riffs.
I don't know. I feel like it's gonna sound harsh.
Say your opinions.
I feel like they fall into like a category of metalcore where, like, gun to my head, if you play this to me, I could not tell you that this was them. Like, I think, and you could probably say the same thing about hardcore. Do you know what I mean? I could play a hardcore band and you go, oh, fuck knows. But I think there is like with metalcore, you either have to really be pushing it in a new way, or like executing it flawlessly to get my attention, at least. I just don't think bands like this are doing it for me. Not to say, and they're probably doing it for a lot of other people, fair enough, but I don't think there's anything. No, I feel like I'm just being mean now, but I feel like there's nothing on this song that I haven't already heard in the last 10 years.
That's true.
So why bother? There's better metalcore to listen to for me.
There's a lot of that's your opinion going on today.
That's it.
Yeah, well, that's my opinion.
Feels a little bit hostile.
There's a bit of tension in the air. But that's you, mate.
We'll move on to the EP that we have from Cartoon Head, Moving to the Same Groove.
And groove it is. A very dancey EP, this one, which
It
is welcome. I like it. It wasn't really what I was expecting. I really, really enjoyed. Oh fuck me, I can't remember the name of the other EP now. Oh, I can just Google it.
This house is not a morgue.
Yes. I really enjoyed the other EP, This House Is Not a Morgue. I think that one had a lot more emo-y things going on.
I'd say so.
Whereas
Emo-y.
this one feels a lot more happy, dancey indie, which is a different vibe. But
Well, you say happy. It's happy in terms of instrumental.
yes,
But that's something I really like about this EP is the contrast between the instrumentals and the lyrical content.
yeah,
Because lyrically, it feels very reflective in a kind of regretful way. But then the music's very sort of like sway and dancey and happy, which is a fun contrast, I think.
yeah. One thing I really like about this as well, I think I might have said this before about Kieran's vocal delivery, but I really like the reluctance. That it's almost like he doesn't want to do it, but he has to, sort of thing, which I like. I feel like it's sort of to me it gives the vibe of like there's no other way that I can say what I'm trying to say, so I have to do this.
Yeah.
Which I think sort of like helps like the feeling of like that exploring, I guess, like themes of regret, I guess, yeah, and being like wistful for a relationship that's gone. I think it's like one of those things that is hard to talk about in real life. So I feel like that's reflected in how he delivers his vocals, I guess. It's a very roundabout way of me saying that. Hope that made sense.
No, it does. I like it.
And finally, we've got 4 Years Strong with a brand new album, Analysis Paralysis. Alex.
Well, I'll be real. It's their best one since Enemy of the World. For me.
I think it just might be.
Heavy where it needs to be. Exploring some new, lighter, again, dancier stuff at times. I'm always a fan, and like one of the biggest drawing points of this band is the way that Alan and Dan's vocals contrast but also coexist, and like the times where they're sort of like back and forth and the times when they're together, I think is like what makes some of these songs so like seamless for me.
And they do the same with the guitars as well. Like they're dueling as vocalists and also as guitarists as well. It's almost like their guitar parts are sort of clashing at each other at times, and also like dancing and winding between each other at times as well.
I think again, like for a band at this point in their career, like you could be satisfied with just a few good bangers to add to the set and call it a day. But I actually don't think like that is what's happening here. I think the whole album is brilliant. I think that it's littered with really good songs. The standouts for me are still Daddy of Mine, which was I think maybe the first single.
I think it was, yeah.
Super heavy and just like ridiculous how cool that intro riff is. And then the one that just jumped out to me on my first listen, which they did release a video for on the day of album release, is Maybe It's Me. It's one of those ones where it's not even like the vocals or the lyrics that are like hooked in my head. It's the guitar riff in the chorus. Like that, to me, like the amount of times I've tried to do the whole album in full, got to that and just gone, just gonna have to
play it again
like 3 or 4 times before I can carry on. I think it's their best since Enemy of the World.
I think my favourite song on the whole is probably Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's taking you up and down, side to side, like a roller coaster, that song. I also like where they're trying different things. Like Bad Habit is just a banger.
Yeah.
Like that chorus just worms its way into your ear and it just sticks there.
And it's a really left field for what you would expect from them.
And then the pair of closing songs they've got as well, Better Get Better and How Do I Let You Go, are just really, really nice ways to close the album out.
Yeah. And then the only other thing I've got is I just really like the lyric in Uncooked of just I want to see you dance, and then it's followed by one of the like coolest riffs on the album that if you were seeing it live you'd be going like crazy in the pit. So I like things like that where it's a little bit like aware
It's
of
a bit of fun.
a bit self-aware of like the situation that you're going to hear it in and things like that. So yeah, on the whole, bloody brilliant. Think I might go to the UK tour.
Who's supporting?
James, you got any thoughts while I find out who's supporting For Your Strong?
I have thoughts. I kind of echo what you said, Dan, about the guitar work. I think there are some really, really nice riffs throughout this. And they have that kind of complementing and dueling aspect, which I think you've kind of perfectly described there. And there are a lot of really catchy melodies throughout this. Go on, you found the lineup.
Koyo and Shoreline. And they're playing SWX in Bristol.
Brizzle.
And Engine Rooms. And Kentish Town Forum in London. That's pretty big.
It is big.
Fair enough.
See you soon, For You Strong.
See you soon. Continue, James. Sorry.
Yeah, I think there's some incredibly catchy melodies throughout this, like you kind of mentioned with that, and stuff that will stick in your head. However, I kind of had a weird juxtaposition in my head that it felt like a group of 40-year-olds trying to be young. And so it
Really?
made it a struggle for me. And then looking it up and seeing that this is their 8th album and they've been around since 2001, it just kind of like has a slight reinforcement of like, yeah, these almost like we've said, I think when we saw Bowling for Soup at Download.
Like they're out of touch, you could say.
Yeah, I mean, is that a song name on this? Okay. Yes, like
Track 5.
but like when we said with Bowling for Soup, I think at Download, trying like older guys trying to sing about high school is a little bit of a weird thing.
Crazy comparison.
But this is, I just got that kind
Yeah,
of
fair
feeling hearing this, and I mean, 8 albums in, you say this is their best album since Enemy of the World, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Which was 2010.
Yes, sir.
So that's 14 years ago that came out. It's just,
I'm not saying they've dropped stinkers. I'm saying
no,
this
I'm
is their
just saying, I'm just
Enemy
saying.
of the World is their best album.
But this is where I think, yeah, for me, I liked it. There were good moments throughout it. But it gave me that, I don't know how, but it gave me that image. And then listening through it, I could not shake that, which was kind of annoying because there were, like I say, there were very good moments throughout it. But it just gave me that, yeah, in my head.
Terrible. I won't have a bad word said about them, James. I'm editing all that out.
Leave them alone.
Well, that's it though. That's all there was to review. Sorry, everyone. But
Thanks
It
for
was-
listening, everyone.
It was a really quiet month.
But next month,
Next month, we've got some freaking bangers coming out. So, it's a strong month. So, I want to know what everyone's looking forward to most. Sundiver from Boston Manor. We've got the
Yep.
self-titled Vended.
Yep.
We've got Devoured by the Mouth of Hell from Harriet.
yeah,
We've got Exhibition of Prowess from Kubla Khan.
yeah.
I mean,
And we've got
fuck
another
it, man.
album.
Jesus.
I teased it last month. It's a sophomore album. I want just one guess from
Stop.
each of you.
Right.
Hang on a minute.
Give us the same
I
clues that you
said-
did last time.
I believe I said it's a sophomore album, and the first album was released in. Bear with me 1 second. First album was released in 2006. I don't think you're going to get this.
Daniel Bedingfield?
No.
That's all I got. Ayaz, maybe.
Natasha Benningfield.
No. We have got Infinite Icon from Paris Hilton.
Of course. Oh, of course.
So with that in mind, which album are you most looking forward to next month? Thank you,
Well-
Wikipedia, for pointing this out to me when I was doing my research for upcoming albums.
I think it's Harriet for me.
Harriet, yeah.
Sorry, Paris.
Paris is a close second. No, I'm joking. No, Harriet, we've been very excited for that for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing what they do on a full-length body of work. Boston Manor have said that this new one is their best one.
And they've been working on it for a long time.
So I think that's the one I'm most excited by, and then kind of hearing the development of Henry's vocals, especially with like Sliding Doors, has got me a lot of intrigue for this album. So I think, yeah, for me it would be Boston Manor, but I guess you guys hear it.
Kubla Khan's going to be good as well, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes without saying.
Goes without saying.
You just know what to expect from them.
We could have reviewed the single they released, but it was only 58 seconds long and the intro of the album. So
Well, here's the reviews.
Well, yeah, let's review it now.
that's it.
Yep, sick
Yeah.
as fuck.
It's brilliant.
It's cool.
Yep, I love it. I feel like a boss when I put it on.
Yep. That's
You
about
are a
it.
boss, Dan.
Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank
You're a
you
boss
so much.
even when you don't put it on. There
You
go.
guys, you're
we
too
lift each
sweet.
other up here. We'll briefly pass over gig talk. We have got Burn It Down Festival next week at time of recording.
Yeah, boy.
So we've had a month of rest
We're
and
probably there
recuperation.
right now when this
we might
goes
be.
out.
We might well be. So if you're there, come and say hello if you're listening.
Have we seriously not been to a gig?
We have not been to a gig in the last month. We've not been to anything since Trees.
Is it? Fucking hell.
I have.
Oh, what have you been to?
Someone's truck.
Oh, you went to truck.
Oh,
You talked
yeah.
about
No,
truck
you
though,
did
didn't
talk
you?
But we talked about that.
We talked about that. So you've had a month of rest and recuperation from all the festivals. So you can go watch all those
Can't
vlogs.
believe
How boring.
I mean, I guess we are recording this a little earlier than we normally would.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Hey,
There we
ho.
are.
Look at us.
Wow.
Not supporting the music industry.
Already at the discussion, are we?
This must be record time.
Speaking of gigs.
Oh, segue.
What a pro.
What makes a good one? It's a question that we ask our guests on the podcast, on the series A Perfect Gig.
Yep.
But now it's time for us to talk about what makes a perfect gig.
Series 2 of Perfect Gigs coming back, by the way.
It will come back.
Back
Series
soon.
2.
We're calling it season.
I'm trying to
season
do
two.
that to style it out so it seemed like the long break we've had.
Does it
has
seem
been
like it was
intentional.
intentional?
We have been busy people.
We've been busy.
Well, it was intentional in the sense that we
didn't book
weren't
anyone.
reaching out to anyone.
Oops.
Right, all I'm thinking.
Anyway.
All I'm thinking of now is Hot Ones when each season they release all the new sources.
What makes a perfect gig? Number 1, 10 p.m. curfew.
Yes.
I'm sick of it, to be honest. I'm sick of it. I understand to a degree you need to start late because people got to travel from work and such things. But I'll say this. I went to a gig in Oxford, a 2-band bill, doors were at 7. Guess what time the first band went on stage?
The way you're
Half eight.
phrasing that question makes me think it's 9 o'clock.
Half
half
past 8.
Yeah. An hour and a half.
I ask you, what are we doing for an hour and a half? Really?
It's to get you to spend money at the bar.
I know it is, but I wasn't going to. No, 10 o'clock curfew. Come on.
Yeah, it's
Let's
good,
be
isn't it?
real.
Like I recall a Sleep Token in Birmingham a couple of years ago. That was a 10 o'clock curfew, and even though Birmingham's 2 hours away from us, it just gave us a chance to get home.
Puts a pep in
Nice
your
and
step.
easy.
Because you're thinking,
Probably home
Brilliant.
home by like 12:30, 1
Yeah.
1 a.m.
in bed by 1.
in bed.
Realistic.
It's a
That's
dream.
brilliant.
It's a
So that's
dream.
my first thing. 10 p.m. curfew.
Mine is a 3-band bill
That was going to be my
Yeah,
next one.
because,
Yeah.
like you say, there
Yes.
you had a 2-band, and I've had a couple of 2-band ones, and then I've also seen the 4-band ones. And one, it means the gig will start earlier, which kind of want to make sure I get a good meal in beforehand, so I don't want to rush to go and see them. But also, I think there's too much fatigue with seeing 4 bands. I think with the 3 bands, you can get a good differentiation. You can get a good level of kind of, for the most part, for what we see, I guess, increasing heaviness leading up to the main band. It feels like there should be that kind of slope going up towards it. You don't want to necessarily always start heavier and go softer towards the evening. I think having that organisation between the bands is such an important thing as
Well,
well.
not necessarily heavier, but just it should just up the ante.
Yeah.
spectacle.
The crowd and reaction should obviously get bigger.
But 3 is the magic number.
Yeah, I can only think of like one instance where a 4-band lineup justified itself,
What was that?
and it was the Counterparts, Kubla
Oh.
Khan, Paleface, Swiss, Dying Wish lineup.
Yeah.
Because how many times do we go and we completely miss the first band,
Mm.
Oh, a lot of the time.
either by accident or by
Especially
intention?
at somewhere like Alexandra Palace, where
Oh, yeah,
you've-
you can't even fucking get
Pain
in.
in the arse. to
if
get
you've
to.
not turned up an hour before doors,
Yeah,
you're like queuing
al-
to get in while the first support band's on.
And also with that, if there is 4 bands, for a lot of the time, if doors are 6, first band could be on at 6:15.
6:02
And
probably.
barely anyone is actually going to be in there to go and see them.
Yeah.
You want people to be in there to see these bands, support these bands, buy merch, whatever, because the venues for the most part might be stealing the merch guts.
Might be,
Might be.
Probably.
allegedly.
Um,
I'm hearing rumblings.
but that's the thing, like, either way, people want to go in and see these bands, and obviously it takes a bit of time for people to get through the doors as well. You've got to do your security checks, tickets, all these kind of things to make sure, obviously, the right people are going in and all that kind of stuff. So, 3 bands, that is all that is necessary.
There's almost a running theme to our ideas here, because so far we've had 10 o'clock curfew, 3-band bill, so it's not too overwhelming. And the one that I'm going to go for next is to be able to have a relaxing time before the gig.
It sounds like
I
you don't want to go to a gig.
We do love gigs. Let's just preface that.
Explain.
I like it when I haven't got a rush to get to a gig. Like 9 times out of 10, I'm going straight from work. We've got to go to another city. Like we've either got to like drive to London or Birmingham or Bristol or something. We've all got to like figure out how early we can all get off work to go. Whereas if it's on a day off in another city, we can all just go there nice and early, explore the city a bit,
Relax.
find somewhere nice to eat, have a good chin wag, which is kind of what this whole podcast was born on,
Yeah.
was us
Yeah.
going to gigs and chatting.
Making a day of it. Yeah,
So, yeah, I like it when you don't have to rush to get there and you can just chill out, have a Nando's or something,
the times we've
and then
had
go,
to,
oh, Doors was in half an hour, let's get over there.
Only around the corner as well.
Yeah, all the instances where we've had, and we've done it plenty of times, a meal deal before a gig.
Because that's all we've got time for.
Mm.
Unbelievable. What's next, James? What else makes a perfect gig? This might actually turn into just like our gig, bit of a room 101 for gig, because my next thing is going to be, I would like to ban people taking their pints anywhere near the pit.
Yes.
That would
Oh,
make a good
Christ.
gig, wouldn't it? If
They're
I
gonna
don't
go-
get
It would
covered
certainly
in-
But
improve
also,
the gig.
especially the amount of times I've seen it, literally right before a band is about to start. You know the band is about to start. The
That is-
timings are up
that's-
everywhere.
and-
It's happening. The crowd, especially for a main act, the crowd is really starting to converge and it's getting tighter. And you get someone with like 2 pints, they're holding it above
They've
their
got,
head.
They've got 4 of those double ones. they've,
off.
they've been sent to the bar by their mate to oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
your round.
Fuck
Just
that.
5 minutes before the band starts, and they've got to fight back through the crowd with 4 jugs.
One, you've wasted money because
They get to their mate, the
You're
band
not gonna
starts,
drink it
mosh
all.
pit opens,
Two,
it's all over the floor.
everyone's going to get
And all
fucking
over me.
drenched.
I'm sober now.
Exactly. Don't do that to sober Dan. Yeah, that is a pain in the fucking ass. I do detest that.
Imagine that's how I break my sobriety. Pint at the air. Ah!
sort of like a watery, hungry hippo.
I love production at a show.
Oh, we're talking about good things now.
Yeah, we're going to go back to talk about good things.
Oh yeah, we've just moaned so
Yeah.
far.
I
I
love.
want a nice early night. And
Oh,
no, tonight I want to have dinner.
no beer, big meal, no bands, go home.
I think we just want to go out for dinner at this point.
Sounds
Yeah.
like it.
Um,
Sorry, James, carry
to
on.
talk about actual something you're going to show
You
them.
like production.
I love good production.
He
in a
likes the
show.
lights.
I like the lights.
Pretty.
I love a good confetti cannon. I love a
confetti.
I love a curtain drop.
You
If
know when
you've
I think
got-
it's best is when you're not expecting it.
yeah,
When it's a smaller band, well, like a relatively smaller band, or a band that's like just made the step up to somewhere like Kentish Town Forum or something, and they've got some confetti cannons at the opening song. It's a bit like, oh yeah,
You go, guys.
proud of you guys. Come on,
Especially at the start of a set. That's probably that's my favourite time for a
very
confetti
cutesy,
cannon.
very.
And I love it when if a band has like electric screens behind, to actually utilize them very well. Like one of the ones that immediately actually comes to mind was seeing I Prevail at Slam Dunk this year. They kind of were fantastic. They had like bits and pieces in between songs. They had different specific things for certain songs, and it felt like instead of just having a logo in the background or a little bit of something kind of wavering in the background, it felt like the band had put time and effort into thinking about how the visuals come across on stage. Even like some of it I didn't like, but you look at Avenge this year, you could tell they thought about a lot of different things they were doing with like AI over themselves and how it was done. Wasn't a fan of how they did it necessarily, but I can appreciate they put the effort and the ideas into, okay, let's think about the overall scheme of the performance and how it's going to appear to everyone. Utilize these things properly. Don't just have a fucking logo up there. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'll just have a fucking pay for
I
a
have
backdrop on a black background at that point.
I have a
I love
plan.
some pyro. Let's set fire to things.
Pyro's great.
And using it in inventive ways. Like the two that stand out is when seeing Slipknot, V-Man having the flamethrower on his bass. And also last time we saw Beartooth, I can't remember where it was exactly. It might have been Wembley Arena.
Wembley Arena, baby.
And Caleb literally just brought out a flamethrower during maybe Devastation.
Yeah, it was.
I
Yeah.
think so.
I think. Oh no, Dominate. It was Dominate. And
Yeah,
but, like
it was,
I was
yeah.
like, what the fuck? That is sick. Thank you for the confirmation, Dan. But it's having pyro is a cool thing, and obviously it is going to be expensive. But using it in like different and inventive ways, that's going to make you stand out, and that's where like those two memories straight away do stand out for me. And appreciating visuals. And while I'm on visuals, for one last thing, Bring Me the Horizon Download 2023.
I was about to say that.
That is the perfect example of seeing Ollie even afterwards putting up the post of how he designed it, how he kind of put things into practice in having that foresight on what he wanted it to look like and come across to fans, and how already in his head they were going to blow everyone's mind away. And the execution was phenomenal, spotless. There is nothing I can fault with what they did.
I was going to bring up that set for the pyro as well, because they had that basically ring of fire going around the whole stage.
It was absolutely
Awesome.
incredible.
This was going to bring into my one thing I like, and that's theming.
Ooh.
So what do I mean by that? I'll explain. I like when, like that Bring Me the Horizon show, yeah, they had the Eve, like character running through. They had like all the like church and like the church imagery that they had. Like the stage at the start was like all church-like, and then it went all frozen over during Shadow Moses, and then I think it broke away at one point and shit. And like the Eve character kind of interacts with the crowd throughout. I like it when a band thinks this isn't just a gig, this is a show, and they like have like another example. This is so not our thing, but me and my girlfriend watched Sabrina Carpenter's Coachella set from this year, and it was all themed to like a 50s like romantic movie of her like running away to a motel, and like a bunch of shit happens, and like the whole set was like a motel, like the front of a motel, and she was coming out of different rooms. They had like transition videos playing on the screens, all things like that sort of like I guess in a way it's kind of to distract the audience because she's maybe doing an outfit change or whatever, but it still creates this thing of like, I'm not just watching a bunch of songs, I'm watching like a linear like performance of something.
To which you've given me the one straight in my head that we could talk about, Dan, which was Neck Deep. I think the theming they had throughout that, with the screens they used, it was very clever, and kind of you would see the different eras kind of come through as they play them, and
the
that
Neck
to
Deep
me,
Eras tour.
Huh?
The Neck Deep Eras tour.
Neck Deep Eras tour, yes.
Should we talk about the eras?
Let's not talk about that. But I think that was a good use, kind of going back to what I said earlier, of the screens and doing something clever and really thinking about your production, how you kind of set things up for people.
Yeah, not to try and just squeeze them in at any opportunity, but it's something I'm excited about with Sleep Token's future. With them now being absolutely massive, having loads of money behind them. Obviously, they've got all that lore and stuff in the background. They're releasing a graphic novel very soon. I wonder if we're going to see some kind of theatrics and theming coming into their live shows in the future.
Yeah, my overall point, theming, I like it. Like Loathe have like samples and shit that they play. Static Dress will kind of dress the set with like old TVs and shit like that. I don't know, I think just taking the time to think more about what's going on than just standing and playing, I like. Although that being said, I also like hardcore music where people turn on all the house lights and just go ape shit, so what do I know?
Just remember when Drain did that at Ali Pally. Just walked out and went, "Get all these lights up! This is a hardcore show!"
Which is cool. I like that. What else makes a good gig, everybody?
I love it when a big band plays a venue that they're too big for. For example, Enter Shikari.
The residency tour.
The residency tour. Just amazing. Obviously, that's like an arena level band. They put on arena level production, and even in those small venues, they still had all the lasers and the strobes and shit, and it was just so much fun, and everyone went insane. Obviously, it's an excuse to play some oldies as well, which is very often the case at these kinds of gigs. I think another one that comes to mind, which we were all at and all had an amazing time at, especially James, was While She Sleeps at the Underworld.
The Underworld, I think that was one of the first actual like gigs at the pandemic, I think.
Oh, that was crazy.
It was just after Slam Dunk, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so, to kind of see that in a 500 capacity venue was absolutely incredible, and it's one of those once in a lifetime opportunities. And so I think it's quite a nice thing, like if you get those kind of size bands to put on multiple successive evenings at the same venue, or within a week or a couple of days of each other at least, and give fans that chance of the kind of really personal, close relationship they can have with the music in that such an intense atmosphere.
Yeah.
It that always stands out as one of the best gigs I've been to and will probably ever go to, because it's something special you hold near and dear to your heart to kind of see one of your favourite bands in that kind of scenario. And if it rarely ever happens, take advantage of it when it does. Get tickets to go and see those bands.
I like when, this is a very, very specific one, but I like it when bands have riffs that the whole crowd sings.
Mm-hmm.
The one that always really sticks out to me is the Fortune Teller riff, but whenever Stray play live, like that at Wembley, it's one of those things that's like,
Wembley.
where does that come from? Because it feels like it's so instinctive for people to just start doing that.
Oh yeah.
That, like, I don't know. I've said before, I don't know if I've said it on the podcast, I think they're the best live band I've seen.
Stray.
Because I've seen them big venues, small venues, festivals, headliner, first band on a bill. Every opportunity that I've seen them play live, they've been like either the very best band of the day or of the gig, or they've given whoever's headlining a very, very good run for their money.
Christ, that download set was
they were the best non-headliner at Download. The Fleece gig was ludicrous.
Oh, that was good fun.
For the genre that they made Wembley seem like fucking easy.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're sick as fuck.
That Roundhouse show is brilliant.
Roundhouse. Oh, the Roundhouse. Oh,
that was good.
Goodness.
Very
and
good.
when they supported Sleeps at the Roundhouse, I think I marginally preferred that set. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe now I'm just...
Well, they are dropping some
Getting
tour
carried
dates
away.
at the moment, so
Getting carried away. But,
waiting for that.
Yeah, they seem to be going like around the UK. By around the UK,
Which
I mean
means
like doing a circle around it. Like they're in Europe, they're in like Scandinavia. I swear they're even in like Iceland or Greenland.
They're doing
in
Ireland.
They're in Ireland.
They're in Ireland.
Yeah.
I think they've got a big support slot for someone in the UK.
Maybe.
I think that's what it is,
Maybe.
which is why they haven't announced their own one. I think they're doing all those other ones, but I think there's a big direct UK support slot they're on.
Who could that be?
Ooh, who could that be?
Because the thing is, I reckon by the end of the year we'll have new singles with a new album coming out next year. Then
What about Sleeps?
They've already announced support, haven't
they got their
Oh,
one
shit,
in
yeah.
November, October.
they? Not Loose.
Architects,
Oh, Architect. Oh, if Architects...
because they're
They
only
announced
UK
a new
appearance.
album.
Yeah, they're
They
only
announced
UK
a new
appearance
album.
as
Good
Bloodstock
point.
this year, and they could be in
Yeah,
main support potentially.
Could be it.
Anywho, one thing I love at a gig is when I see security who are fucking great.
Hell yeah.
And having fun.
In particular, the security team who usually do Outbreak and the Tree security team.
Mm-hmm.
Those two in particular stand out as the kind of best groups of people. I see them there. I do regularly crowd surf. It happens. I feel safe in their hands. I know that I'm going to be looked after. I know that people around me are going to be looked after, which is just a nice thing to have when going to heavy shows. I think, obviously, still fighting the stigma that so many people have misconceptions of what metal shows are like. And I think like when you see those kind of people there and they understand, they respect what's going on, and they will also look after you, it's so fucking important to have. Because you don't want to be dropped on your ass, looking up at them, thinking, why didn't you catch me while you're on the floor like a little baby? Alex.
Oh, you're referring to my slam dunk
I am.
incident. Yeah.
Well,
What band was that?
I don't know. I literally was just thinking that. I can't even remember. Maybe Loathe.
It's the concussion.
No, I fell square on my arse.
Like a little baby wanting to be picked up.
If we could...
Uppies.
Do we have any more suggestions?
Yeah, I do.
Go on.
I love a vocal feature.
Oh, I love a good vocal feature.
Oh, let's
And
name our favourite ones.
usually it's from the support band or a band that's local to the area.
That's the better
That's just
one.
come in.
That's the better one.
You're thinking of Architects and
I'm
Straight from the
thinking of
Path, aren't
Architecture
you?
Straight from the Path.
Yes.
Because it is super
Just
fun
yes.
when the support guy comes out and does it. But as that video of that girl screaming at the front
All
row
the other way,
test-
all the other way round, where the headliner comes out for the
so it
support band.
feels naughty.
Mm.
It's like, didn't Ollie Sykes come out and do something with Architects?
Sleeps.
Oh, he did. He did
Silent
Silent
Speaks.
Speaks at All Points East, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it was cheeky. It was like, oh, Ollie,
Is in like a hoodie.
go away. Shouldn't see you right now. Should see you later.
Too early.
That was weird. But no, yeah, I love that. What ones do I like? I like when Amy Lee came out in the robes with Bring Me at Download.
That was
That was
very
cool.
good. That was very cool. I mean, this year, seeing Aching Longing and 60 Centimeters of Steel, and seeing the crossover between those, which had never happened before, phenomenal. Just give me a holding absence Alpha Wolf UK tour, please, and that'll be tremendous.
For me, any time Soupy appears somewhere,
Anywhere.
anywhere,
I really still like his Beauty School one. That felt
it's
really
a great song,
wholesome.
innit?
Yeah, a cute moment as well. It was definitely like you could tell for Beauty School. It was like this is like our idol
Yeah.
on stage with us. So love that.
And the one he did with Trash Boat as well, at Download.
Huge. Oh, love a good vocal feature. What else do we like?
It's nice that we started with things we don't really like.
I like when I know a tour's happening that I really love, and it's at the Underworld in London.
Yeah, I like the Underworld.
I like the Underworld at London. I
Bit
just
hot.
wanna
It's a
say
bit
that.
too hot though. I would say.
It's a bit hot.
Couldn't
It's too hot.
Intense environment, but I just love
Couldn't
that.
do one of
venue.
them in the summer we've just had. Fucking hell.
And I love the Kentish Town Forum because that's our birthplace.
Yes.
Special
I love-
memories.
Because I don't go as crazy as I used to, particularly when it comes to like crowd surfing and stage diving and stuff. I love it when that feeling overcomes me, and I'm like, it has to happen right now. So
I love
that's
the
just me.
Dome. Sorry, I was just thinking of venues still.
yeah, I like the Dome. Dome's good.
I love the Dome.
I like when you put me on your shoulders.
Usually at State Champs.
Usually at state champs.
That
What
happens
else? What else?
on occasion,
What
doesn't
else
it?
do we like?
I love friendly people in the mosh pits.
And
you find your
friendly
pit friends.
staff.
Should we end by maybe like room 101ing something we hate from gigs?
Yeah.
Something you'd wanna if you could
Let's do that.
that will never happen again at a gig ever. Because I think mine would probably be the beer thing.
I was leaning towards that.
so
I
was I.
can't lie.
Okay.
But I'll pick something else.
No, maybe no. Yeah, I'll pick that. You guys can pick something
So
else.
yours is
I
not
will-
taking beers into
That's
No.
it's very noble of you.
No beers. In fact, no. Nothing,
drinks in mosh
nothing,
pits.
Nothing. Because if you're in the mosh pit and you get hot, they'll hand out water at the front anyway. Have a beer by all means, but don't come anywhere near me with it.
And a beer's not going to hydrate you, man.
Yeah, true. So true.
Listen to Sober Down.
I'm going to go with one that was early on as well, which was all gigs are 3-band lineups. Mr. Bird.
I'm thinking. I'm going to banish leaky toilets to room 101. Almost the minimum expectation from a venue is
Mhm.
that the toilets don't leak into the main room and cancel the gig and leave you standing in shit while you're watching Youngblood do a support slot.
Probably the worst place any of us have ever been. Is that?
Mm.
I feel sorry
Yeah,
for
I
you.
can't think of many places worse than stood in shit
Watching Youngblood.
watching Youngblood.
Yeah.
But it was only in Oxford, so it was a quick journey home.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get your positives out of it.
just the 20-minute drive with your shoes sodden in shit.
Sodden shitty shoes.
But you
Well,
let us
there you
know down below. What makes a great gig for you? What do you enjoy when you go to gigs? What don't you enjoy when you go to gigs? Let us know. And like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. But before we go, we need to recommend some albums to each other, don't we?
We do, and I haven't thought ahead.
I never think ahead.
I have one.
Go on then.
I was scrolling through my Spotify earlier on. Alex was here. And I was just thinking, what do I recommend? What do I do? Something that's different. And also something I don't think Dan's ever listened to. and I don't think Alex has listened to all the way through, we think. And that is Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory from Dream Theater. It is the long sequel to
You're in for a long ride.
Metropolis Part 1 from Images and Words. It's a whole concept album. There's stuff going on.
Say the name properly. Of the Images and Words album.
Images and Turds.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. But yeah, Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory. And I'm really intrigued to hear Dan's reaction to this.
Got anything, Dan?
I am going to pick an album that turns 10 years old next year. One that we all like, to certain extents. I know James likes at least one song on it. It's Copacetic by Knucklepuck. They've started announcing anniversary shows. Hoping they bring that to the UK.
I like Pretense.
They better do.
I love this album a lot.
I like Untitled actually as well.
It's time to go back and revisit it.
I'm down for that.
Unrelated, but have you seen that Citizen are playing Youth in full?
I have seen that.
Fucking hell.
Means nothing to me.
If you thought Movements was too depressing,
Yeah,
give that album a wide
No,
berth.
I'm not.
should have crashed the car.
I want to say there was one Citizen album reviewed at some point, and I was like, nah, too depressing.
Yeah, the blue one.
I
From Pretty Blue to All I Wanted Was You.
yes,
Because Alex is looking at Paramore.
he is. But which one? Okay. Yeah.
I think you went ultrasonic there.
Johnny English. I'm going ultrasonic. Boy says, calm down, it's only a bit of poo. Dan in the O2. Don Broco to Dan in the O2. It's only a bit of poo. I'm going to recommend Brand New Eyes by Paramore.
Hell yeah.
I don't think I've
It's
ever listened to
a
this.
fantastic album. I'd like to have the special edition so that Decoder's on there. Because I just watched Twilight for the first time.
You've just
And-
watched Twilight for the first time.
Yeah. All the way through.
Genuinely.
Genuinely.
I've never
seen
watched
bits
it.
and pieces.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, we watched
Are you in
Twilight
disbelief that he's actually watched
last
it now,
night.
or that he
Last
decided?
night. We were going to watch New Moon
like-
tonight.
You're a movie guy.
Yeah, I know.
And you've not seen Twilight.
No, I know. Well, we just...
Movie guy and an emo. And he's
It's all on
only
to-
just seen Twilight.
It's all off topic, but we just went to a film convention on the weekend, and it was all fantasy films, and the Twilight cast were there. So then I was like, oh, let's watch that when we get home. Bryony was like, what? This is not getting in. So anyway, yeah. Just watched Twilight. Just saw Paramore earlier this year at the Eras Tour. Oh, there it is. Mentioned it again.
Oh, Christ.
So all we...
It feels like Alex and I are going through a game of like whether I can mention Sleep Token at some point and he can mention he's been to
Taylor
the
Swift.
Eras tour.
So yeah, Brand New Eyes. Not my favourite. But it's bloody good, isn't it?
I think it might be my favourite.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've
I'm
never
looking,
listened
looking
to it.
forward to going back to it.
Never listened.
I'm going to listen again with brand new eyes
And ears.
and ears.
Well, hang on. You've listened to Riot though, surely.
Not all the way. I've
Not all the
listened
way?
to very select songs. I was never a Paramore fan growing up. I know Misery Business.
Should we do? Should I do? all
No,
Paramore?
don't. No. Fuck. No. No.
No,
and no.
hang on.
No.
Stop. Wait. Stop. I'm not going to.
Look at my waveforms going
Yeah,
big.
I'm not going.
No.
To. I'm not going to.
He can't even
But-
see the waveforms and he
but-
knows
I
they're
know.
going big.
But Dan did One Artist, 3 months, 3 albums. Wait,
I will threaten something if you do
that's
this.
not a threat. It would be fair for me and you to do 3 albums from one artist over the course of 3 months.
Okay, mine's
Definitely.
Dream Theater now then.
I,
This is my threat. If I'm doing this, I'm doing Dream Theater.
It's not a threat.
If you wanna do this-
all right. Paramore.
Okay, Dream Theater.
Well,
We're
should
getting.
we start at the start?
getting-
Then?
we're
Should I-
getting-
should I do the
are
first
you
one?
both doing this at the same time?
Oh no, we can't do it at the same.
Oh,
time.
I'm doing this now.
Okay, I'm gonna do Brand New Eyes now, and then I'll wait a few months, and then we'll do Paramore from the beginning.
I think
How many? Not all-
Octavarium's gonna be next.
not
The
all-
Octavarium self-titled song is 25 minutes.
Not all of Dream Theater. Just 3 albums,
3 albums from Dream Theater.
and I can do 3 Paramore albums.
Yeah.
Fair.
Oh, you're gonna love Octavarium.
You're gonna love After Laughter.
Is it as bad as This Is Why?
Hang on, we've all done our thing. I've got Sleep Token in. He's got Taylor Swift in. You've got Mike Portnoy in.
That's a bingo.
If you have your bingo cards, that's a full house. You win a
A piece of cheese.
piece of cheese.
Cheese.
Piece of cheese. Wensleydale.
Not from us though. You got to go. Oh yeah, a bit Wensleydale. Wensleydale and cranberry. That's my favourite cheese at Christmas.
Let's wrap this motherfucker
Let's wrap it up.
Like,
a sub 1 hour episode. Thank God.
comment,
They
subscribe.
said it couldn't be done.
A sub 1 hour episode. We're going to be home early.
Yes. Get in. I can go and watch New Moon tonight.
Let us know down below what makes Perfect Gig for you. Like, comment, subscribe. We're at Burn It Down soon. There'll be a vlog of that, interviews, all kinds of sick things. Dan's got something to say.
The Perfect Gig is going to come back.
It is
Yes.
season 2. As
Let
we've
us
decided.
know in the comments which bands we should be getting on.
If you want to know what some of your favourite artists already think makes a perfect gig, we've got Harvey from Graphic Nature, Jesse from Dream State, Lucas from Holden Absence,
And more.
and more.
Many, many more.
I was going to keep listing them, but they've
Jacob, who used to be
Jacob,
Nala.
who used to be in Nala. And our mate Steve. So, what more could you want? That's it.
Hang on.
Thanks.
Join the Ragamuffin Club.
Oh, join the
Let's not
Ragamuffin
forget
Club.
about it,
Yeah,
guys.
join the
Join the Ragamuffin Club. It's free. Link in description. Facebook group, community. Talk music with us.
Well, we've gotten really loud towards the end as well.
Oh, and follow us on all
so excited
socials.
to
It's because it's nearly
I don't
curfew.
want that to pass 1 hour. That's why.
Ragamuffin 666 on all socials. Bye.
On all socials. Bye.
See you, bye. We're waving.
Bye.
Bye.
We're
Bye.
waving.
Bye.
Bye.